not a test. This is your emergency broadcast system announcing the commencement of the annual purge sanctioned by the U.S. government. May God be with you all.
They're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats, eat the cat, eat the cat. They're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats, eat the cat, eat the cat. They're eating the cats, they're eating the dogs, eat the cat, 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 eat the cat. They're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats, eat the cat, eat the cat.
Good evening. Oh man, hang on. So, pardon the fact, damn, that I'm coughing, but that I don't have a shirt on. I have some analgesic rub on, which is a fancy way of saying generic Bengay. But yeah. So I don't want to get all my clothes all gay, because then I gotta smell gay and just entirely gay for days. For days. So I don't want to do that. Yeah, analgesic rub. Yep, that's it. Analgesic rub. Which reminds me, you know, I was wondering the other day just, you know, how much annually we are giving to Ukraine to fight the war. And I do mean annually, not annually, because we're getting screwed in the ass, man, for paying for that war. But that's a different subject. Man, a lot of crazy stuff. A lot of crazy stuff today. And it looks like things are really ramping up already, to be honest. Man, I'm telling you, it is, I think things could very likely go off the chain. Anyway, just a bunch of crap today. There's a bunch of, election mishaps, if you will, that have been talked about. Wow. And I watched a video a little bit earlier of, I guess it's some kind of election official from Colorado. I believe the video was from BP Earthwatch, I think. And anyway, this lady was lying her ass off when it came to talking about a situation to where apparently some passwords got compromised to the voting machines. You know, no big deal. So, you know, I'm also trying to kind of figure out, I believe it was the state of Washington, there was some drop boxes that were lit on fire with some type of incendiary device. And apparently, on these devices was written "Free Palestine." So now that could be a false flag. It could be a right winger doing it to make it look like a left winger, because stuff like that happens. But I think probably the obvious explanation, or the easiest explanation, is probably what's best to go with, and that's that that it was a left wing nut. And it just makes me wonder if Republicans are really showing up in that much mass. You know, I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised if Republicans weren't sweeping this. And now, I don't know if we'll ever know, but I have a feeling that's what's going on. I think that we're only starting to see issues. I mean, of course, there's like hundreds of court cases already filed or whatever for this election that hadn't even happened yet. And then that's, again, before the fact. It's hard to say how many more lawsuits will be added on after the fact. So I'm very anxious for November 5th. I'm concerned about November 5th. And I'll say it again, you know, if you're of the red team mind, you might want to get out early. I know that's not a popular thing to do with conservatives / Republicans, but I wouldn't want to be standing in line, especially in a, large population area. I would not want to be standing in line November 5th. And you want to be ready for a ton of others to be standing in line November 5th. Good for you, Leo. He voted 3 days ago. So put one in for Kamala. No, I'm kidding. I don't know, man. There's, like I said, there's going to be tons and tons of lawsuits that are put into place as soon as this election. I mean, there already has been. Man, they're going to fight tooth and nail over this. They all. I couldn't resist, man. So a little bit of excitement today. I got a video to show you guys. Hopefully this video don't wind up backfiring. Because there is one way that I could see that it could backfire a little bit. But you may or may not know that Trump took a trash truck to his rally today, and they got video of him disembarking on his journey. And so anyway, I thought I would show that to you. Get it switched over here. Turn the volume up so you can hear it.
250 million people are not garbage. I can tell you who the real garbage is, but we won't say that.
I guess I'll say something real quick now on it. So when he went to reach to grab the handle of the truck, he kind of missed the handle, and it caused him to stumble a little bit. And he looked very unsteady in that moment and the moment right after as he was actually stepping up into the dump truck. Now, the dude's not young. You know what I'm saying? The dude's not young. And I'm not saying anything because, again, the dude's not young. My shoulders have started giving me hell again, and I can't. I've had to baby them all day. I really have tried not to lift them, anywhere above being straight out. And because if I do, yikes, my shoulder just pops like crazy, and it hurts like a mother. And I have no idea what's going on. Both shoulders are doing it. My right one's much worse. And so, me today getting up in that truck would look probably worse than Trump getting up in it. So, but I did want to point that out because, I have a feeling that there's going to be those on the left that do. So I'll play it again. Watch as he grabs for the handle of the door. And he'll miss the handle and kind of stumble back a little bit. And then when he goes to take his first step up in, he looks a little bit uneasy. So again, no big deal. The dude's not 20 years old. I get it. But you know how the left is.
I think the Democrats have done a very poor job. We're leading in every state. We're leading big, and I think that the comment made by really both of them, because there are really two of them, about being garbage, maybe 250 million people. For Joe Biden to make that statement, it's really a disgrace. I don't know anything about the comedian. I don't know who he is. I've never seen him. I heard he made a statement, but it was just a statement that he made. He's a comedian. What can I tell you? How do you like my garbage truck? This truck is in honor of Kamala and Joe Biden.
So anyway, that happened today. Let me get that out of the way. Oh, man. Yeah, that's true. At least he knows which direction to leave the stage. Yep. Or he doesn't just stand there and stare. But, man. Other than that, like I say, there's just been all kinds of nonsense. There was a ruling by the Supreme Court that, oh gosh, which state was it? Virginia, maybe? There was like some 1,600 ballots or whatever that was, I guess, sent to illegal immigrants or whatnot. And they were trying to, the left is trying to make sure that those ballots get counted. And of course, the right's like, no, if you're not an American citizen, nope. And so anyway, the Supreme Court upheld the nope. So, I guess they're not going to get counted now. From my understanding, there's 2 other states that that are going through this issue right now as well. So, I'll tell you what, I'm trying to watch everything as best I can. And you know, if I was to have to choose which one's more likely to come first, you know, the chicken or the egg, I would say that civil war would be more likely right now. And the reason I say that is because I'm not quite sure that China is ready to pounce tomorrow on Taiwan. I'm not sure that Little Rocket Man is ready to pounce on South Korea tomorrow. And I don't see, between now and the election, the Russia-Ukraine situation getting any hotter. I also do not see anything coming up, and I could be wrong on any or all of these. But I don't see anything popping up between Israel and Iran either, between now and Election Day. Now, again, I could be so frickin' far off base on that. I think that the world, literally, is standing back and watching this to see how this turns out. I think leaders around the world are apprehensive of making a move either way. Because, you know, if Kamala gets in, if that's who they say wins the election, then it's on. It's on like Donkey Kong. But if Trump gets in, they better mind their P's and Q's. And they know it. You know, Trump wants peace. Not only does he say he wants peace, but he's shown that he wants peace. And I believe it. I don't think that he wants to help feed the military-industrial complex. I think he wants to get rid of it just like most of us do. At least tame it down. Get it where it's under our control. And we're not under its control. And I really think that that he will help facilitate an understanding with these other countries. Now, I think that he'll encourage Zelensky and Putin to make a fair agreement. And my thoughts are that's probably going to be that Ukraine gets, or that Russia gets what basically it took over, what Zaporozhye, Donbass is another or something. Those areas that had already took their vote and want to be a part of Russia. But, and I think that, Russia will keep Crimea. But I think anything further east, I think, is all going to be left to Zelensky. Now, honestly, and I've heard Trump say before that he's in support of a two-state solution as far as Israel is concerned. I've heard him say that myself. So maybe that's the deal that he offers. I know that Trump has really done a lot of positive things for Israel. But if you go back and you pay attention, Trump on numerous occasions has stated that he felt like Netanyahu needed to step it down a notch. And he said it using language like, it doesn't look good on the international stage, more or less. I don't think Trump would play around with him at all. I think Trump would tell him flat out, Netanyahu that is, that we're not going to support your war. We're not going to send you the weapons. We're not going to keep continuing to fund you monetarily. You're on your own. And I do think Trump's got the balls to tell Netanyahu that. Why am I approaching it that angle? Because anybody, in my opinion, anybody that really truly understands what's going on with all that would come to the conclusion that a two-state solution is the only fair outcome. The only fair outcome. I mean, come on here. I think she went back to the bathroom. She was in here, though. But I really do think that that's going to be what his one of his stipulations would be. Two-state solution. Again, he's already done a lot of good for them. Jerusalem, I mean, he's done a lot of good for them. He's not in any way hostile towards them, but I think he's fair. I think he would be just as fair between Israel and Palestine as what he would be between Russia and Ukraine. So the same kind of fairness that he used when he went and walked across the DMZ and talked to Kim Jong-un. I hope that he wins. But getting back towards more of the topic tonight, those are the reasons why I think at this particular moment in time, if I were to had to pick one or the other as to being more likely to happen first, civil war. Because that can kick off any time between now and Inauguration Day or a little after. I mean, I think about it and it's pretty daunting, to be honest. Yeah, well, Trump does. He's very good at communicating with people. And that goes both ways, whether it's something favorable or otherwise. And I think that's one of the reasons why the powers that be can't stand him. It's because he's very clear and he is very direct, and you will not mistake, and he's not going to cherrycoat. And that's just, in today's world, that's just unacceptable. So, whatever. Ow, that kind of hurt my frickin' shoulder. I shouldn't do the limp wrist with my shoulder messed up. So anyway, ow. Coffee. Vaping on some Sherb. It's homemade sherbet ice cream e-juice. Freaking awesome tasting. Got the lime in there. Got the raspberry. And there's no orange in it, but it's almost like there's some peach in it, and it's almost like you get a little bit of a hint of orange. Oh, really? No kidding. Rainbow sherbet. Who's it from? I am curious who else makes a flavor like that, because does it taste like real? Lost Mary. Lost Mary. We are gonna find that. I wonder because you need to find Jimmy the Juice Man and try Jimmy the Juice Man and try his Sherb. So it's a pod. Is it a pod? Salt, I should say. I'm 21, quit. Rainbow Sherbet Lost Mary Pro Vape. Is it like a pod? I mean a pod? Yeah, a pre-filled one. I'm looking at it now. Yep. Doo. That puppy right there. That puppy right there. Sweet. Yeah, I'm glad that tastes good. That's what this is I'm vaping on is Rainbow Sherbet. And holy cow, is it awesome. The raspberry, the lime. I'm in love with it. I don't want anything else. Anywho. I've been bouncing back and forth between that and my pink starburst. So, it's good stuff. I forgot to find my frickin' eye hook today. I got... I see it. I got a little eye hook thing I need to screw into the ceiling so I can put up the Slim Jim J-Pull antenna. I want to have it set up inside here. At least have one of them set up inside here. Because, you just never know what the hell. You just never know. Making sure that we're going to have shopping done. Because we do like all of our shopping for a month at one time. Because it just makes it, we don't drive, it just makes it easier. Oh, damn, that pod lasts you 3 weeks? Probably lasts me like maybe 3 days. I vape like a freight train. But, I just want to have everything kind of good to go and everything ready, just in case something absurd does happen. So, when I have all that, when I have everything wrapped up with being ready for the alpacalypse, probably Sunday, by Sunday night, I'll just make sure the batteries are all charged up, just kind of you know, usual thing. The alpaca lips, yep. But, I mean, real quick, things can turn upside down. You know, and I'm not trying to sound like a prepper channel. But that is the facts. I mean, our grid could go down in the blink of an eye. And who knows when they could get it back up. Depend on what would happen. Whether it was a cyber attack, whether or not a situation happened in which there was a cascading failure. Because then you're going to more likely have a lot more damaged equipment that's got to be replaced. And I mean, so there's a large variation of how bad that situation could be. If they just got all bumped offline and there was really no actual equipment damaged, it would just be a process of them booting the system back up, which would take them a little bit because it is a national grid. So they have to do it in a certain order as far as when they connect the different grid systems to each other and stuff like that. So it's not something like everybody could just go balls to the wall and everything's good to go. So I don't know how long it would take them to bring it back up if the entire national grid went down. Nothing was wrong with it other than it just went down. I have no idea how long it would take them to boot it. You know, I say boot it up. They probably have different terminology for it, but oh man, oh man, oh man. We could choke to death. We could ask Google. Because Google knows everything. Let's ask that one pain in the ass. I gotta reach around a tablet to type as I'm knocking my e-cig over. And if the national power grid completely fail, how long would it take to get back online? The timeline for restoring a national power grid after complete failure can vary widely based on several factors, including the cause of the failure, the preparedness of the infrastructure, well, we're screwed there, and the resources available for recovery. Here's a general breakdown. Dun dun dun. Number 1, initial assessment, hours to days. The first step would involve assessing the extent of the damage and determining the cause of the failure. So let's just say it was a hack, there was no damage, everything just went down. Restoration of key infrastructure, days to weeks. Critical facilities like hospitals and emergency services would likely be prioritized for power restoration. I'm sure, well, we got our own power generation plant. We've got a power plant here, but I know the old hospital was good to go. They had generators that they could kick on. I would assume the new one, because we've got a new hospital, and that may make it sound like, oh wow, they could do more now. No, just the opposite. It's a glorified Band-Aid station now. It's got a helipad, so they fly a bunch of people out to St. Louis, because that's lots of money, yo. Number 3, grid restoration, weeks to months. Depending on the severity of the failure, it could take weeks to months to restore the grid to full functionality. In a widespread failure, repairing transmission lines, substations, and generation facilities would be necessary. A long-term recovery, months to years, complete recovery, including upgrades and improvements to prevent future failures, might take years. Well, so I would say we would probably, if nothing got damaged, if the system just went down, we would probably be within the weeks category. So, yeah. Because again, it's not like everybody can just start kicking their stuff on and everything's all hunky-dory. They got to do it in a certain order and stuff like that because, you know, the way that grid is set up, it would be awful easy to overload. And that is not something that you want to do. Oh, man. Coffee. Ah. Oh, man. Yeah, I got my little 2 pods down here and my little Boulder Rocks charging. That one's charged. It's got Fruit Chew in it, which is Starburst. I didn't make this, though. I did a little bartering here in town for a guy that owns a little game store. Buys and sells, you know, used games, Nintendo, and all that good stuff. Anyway, he needed some signage, so I made him some signage and traded him signage for juice. And actually, I got this particular Boulder Rock from him as part of bartering. I encourage people to do that if you get the opportunity. Like if you got little town pages like to where people are, you know, selling stuff and whatnot. Get the opportunity to barter. It's good to get those kind of mindsets already working and getting those relationships already in place. Oh, man, no, not at all, man. Not at all. And one of the best parts about bartering is no taxes. No taxes. Middle fingers to the government. Man. I'm all about working around the system. Because they do everything to put the screws to us. 1 second. They're not supposed to double tax us. And I can give you one instance in where they tax us so many frickin' times. A car. You go buy a car brand new off the lot, you got to pay sales tax for that car. You turn around 2 years later, sell that car to Joe Blow. Joe Blow has got to pay sales taxes for that car. Joe Blow's got the car 10 years and decides to sell it to me. I have to pay taxes on that car. Same car that was already taxed in full upon the day it was bought off the lot. But everybody down the line has to pay taxes over and over for that car. Now, if that isn't double taxation, I don't know what is. And that's one of a ton of examples. You know, the fact that you go to work, you pay your income taxes, you turn around, you take that paycheck, and you go and you have to pay taxes when you buy stuff, then I'll be damned at the end of the year you don't have to pay taxes again. So it's insane the way the tax system is set up. It's one of the things that has been going around is Trump supposedly mentioning, doing away, just bringing it up, at least the topic for discussion, doing away with taxes. And, we often hear when people discuss that, well, who's going to build the roads? And here lately, the only thing I can think about is those wonderful men and women in western North Carolina, eastern Tennessee, that took it upon themselves, we the people, to build those roads. And we have to be willing to do it, right? There are people in our communities that know how to build roads, that know how to lay asphalt, that know how to do those things. There's people in at least some of our communities that have the equipment to do that stuff. So now you're at a point to where you need equipment donated, you need time donated, and you need materials. That's how they used to do things, like way back in the day. Howdy, Clive. That's how they used to do things, like way back in the day. And why can't we go back to that? Why can't we go back to that? Just, volunteer some of our time to help out in whichever way that we can, right? And not have to pay taxes. I don't know. I would trade that. I would trade that. That would be worth it. That would absolutely be worth it. 10% of your time. 10% of your time based on 40 hours. So you go, well, I guess would that be 4 hours? Nonetheless, say you'd go on one of your weekend days or one evening after your regular 40-hour job or whatever, and go do filing or whatever, whatever it is that you can do to help out. It's, I just got a humming sound. Well, I'm not getting any pleasure from it. Oh, wait. Did it go away? Cause I didn't get to enjoy the hummer at all. Did it go away though? Or am I still humming? Okay. I forgot. I noticed my mic plug was creeping out the other day, and I meant to snap it back in, and I forgot to do that, so that's what it was. Bad connection to the mic. Oh, man. Kind of disappointed. Wanted to enjoy the hummer. I mean, how often does that happen? Oh, man. So, let's see. What other kind of nonsense today? Oh, yeah. A researcher says the Harris campaign is manipulating social media. Interesting. And Trump told Netanyahu to end the war, says Israeli media. That's coming from Israeli media. Oh, yeah. I wanted to make sure. I'm glad I did decide to look through here. Spain apparently had a bunch of of floods, really bad floods, dozens of people killed. And I have not seen any news come out. I was expecting to see something somewhere. Now, I'm not saying there hasn't been any news, but I haven't seen any news around an earthquake off the coast of Oregon today. Let me pull up the map here. And right here, a 6.0 says 279 kilometers west of Bandon, Oregon. So 6.0, I would think that would be newsworthy at least. I got an email. Because I get alerts when, I believe when they're 6 and above, I get alerts. So. Oh, man. Let's see if there was anything else that RT had reported on. Well, apparently the Five Eyes is developing a secret cloud, claims media, so. U.S. lawmakers fear post-election political violence, says Axios. And a UK charity has kind of pissed off some people because they were adding an LGBTQ flag to the poppy. You know, the Remembrance Poppy? A UK charity has added the LGBTQ flag to the Remembrance Poppy, which is, that's about as distasteful as it gets. I thought this article, there was an article, FBI ran honeypot operation on 2016 Trump campaign, says a whistleblower. And the article says that, let's see here. Where is it? Oh. I clicked on the wrong thing. Dang it, man. Yeah. This article says this. Okay. A honeypot agent refers to an attractive woman who uses a sexual or romantic relationship to gather intelligence from a target. Now, I have heard the word honeypot a long time, and that is the first time that I've heard of it specifically relating to a female and it's something being sexually or romantically involved. I've heard the term honeypot for as long as I can remember, and it's always been simply just some type of an operation to draw a bunch of people in, right, basically entrap a bunch of people into doing something. Remember the militia up in, I think it was Michigan or whatever, that was involved in that? Honeypot. And I've heard that term used a lot, and that's the first time I've ever heard of it being listed as being specific to being something romantic or sexual in nature and involving a woman necessarily. So I don't know. Maybe I could have been wrong all that time. But I thought that was a little crazy. Man, there's a lot of people that are really talking about that whole garbage thing. and it was the real BP Earthwatch, did a video called Colorado Kool-Aid. And that was about the lady in Colorado talking about that crazy stuff. So who knows? I hadn't seen anything more today on the White House's preparations and stuff like that. So haven't heard anything more on any of that. I don't really know of anything more. I mean, I think a lot of people around the world are all kind of waiting to see what happens. I know I can't wait. I just want to see it get over with and be done with, and hopefully the people are represented and Trump gets in, and hopefully the transition is smooth, and I do not expect that. And I'm sitting here, I've been listening to different comments, especially from the left. I've heard a bunch of comments, and it almost sounds, how they went after Trump back before the last inauguration, and was hounding him about whether or not he was going to certify and all that. Was he going to try to do, and the media was trying to fearmonger you into thinking that Trump was going to try to take over like some type of dictator or something like that, which of course never happened. And they're coming out now and talking about ways to, they cannot certify Trump, and ways that they can prevent him from actually taking office if he gets duly elected. And that's insane. That's insane. I'll tell you what. Man, if there's anything that might set this nation off into a civil war, I think that probably tops the chances. Could you imagine him getting both the electoral and the popular vote, and then the left saying we're not going to certify him? Or trumping up, no pun intended, more charges and arresting him and throwing him in jail or some crazy stuff like that? I do believe that would be enough to right at that moment set this nation alight. Maybe. I mean, I'm not quite sure what it would look like, because it's not really, the right's thing to go burn down dominoes or anything. But could we have another event? In a sense, January 6th-ish, because, if the left was going to do that, I don't believe that there would be an inauguration. I don't think that there would be a day, where people would be gathered together like that. So it would be more like, would people be rushing, just in general, trying to rush the Capitol building or the White House? I can't see that. For some reason, I can't see that. And I don't know how. I don't know how it would take shape. Maybe it would take shape because, there are supposedly things in place for stuff like this. We have a standard operating procedure, if you will, for things like this. The sergeant at arms at some point should step up and say, hey, whoa, wait a minute here. And if the acting people in power are clearly breaking the law, are clearly going against the will of the American people, then, to my understanding, it is the duty of that sergeant of arms to arrest those people in power for what they're doing. I mean, that there are safeguards that are supposedly in place. So we could get a situation that looks something like that. Any number of things, really. I mean, yes, I did. I was actually talking about that earlier. I think I might have said, no, I did say Virginia. I think originally I said North Carolina, but I corrected myself, I think. Yep. What was it? Some 1,600 ballots or whatever. It is absolutely crazy what they're trying to do. Absolutely crazy. That's one of the reasons I decided to come back and discuss this stuff, because it's off the hook. It truly is off the hook, and I really do think we'd be wise to have all our T's crossed and our I's dotted. I really think it'd be a wise idea. Hopefully it's for naught, but I'd rather it be for naught and get a practice run in. Now, we don't live in a community that would be lit afire instantly or anything like that, not even close. But again, if, say, the grid went down, that's a pretty big old crap for all of us at one time. So, in my opinion, it's a good idea to have things ready so that you can just transition into that. A couple of things that I need to do if that were to happen. If we were to have a big widespread power outage, there are things that I need to do, things I need to implement immediately. And not all of that is like right here. So there will be things I need to do. And, I will absolutely maintain radio communication with home the entire time I'm doing those things. So that's why I want to get that J-Pole Slim Jim antenna put up and ready to go. And just have the radio set up, ready to go. I normally keep the EcoFlows, I normally keep them packed up. I'm not normally out using them just to use them. I very rarely use the big one. Because again, it's tools, not toys. That's the way I look at it. Tools, not toys. Those batteries will only charge so many times before they start losing their capacity. I want to hold on to as much of that as possible. I don't want to be the guy that, 2-3 months after a major event happens is kicking myself in the ass because I used my fun box every chance I possibly got, and pretty much wiped out the batteries before anything even happened. I don't want to be in that position. Yeah, I need to get some batteries. I need to get a couple of 12-volt batteries for my uninterruptible power supply under the desk here. I don't have it hooked up right now. Because I don't have good batteries for it. But I need to get two 12-volt batteries for that. So, there's a lot of things that we need to get that we're down. I know I gotta get socks, something bad, first thing I get a chance. But I've got a list of stuff that we need to get caught up with. It is what it is. Let's see. Let me see if there's anything else real quick before I head out. I am like sore as heck. Oh, checking mainstream real quick. Oh, AP News reporting about Donald Trump boarding the garbage truck. Fun times, fun times. Of course, the leftist media is already out there saying we may not know who won on election day. Setting up the backstory for that nonsense. Police say the man behind the ballot box fires has metalworking experience and might plan more attacks. Well, that's interesting that they could tell that just from... It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. I don't know. I really do think we need a better system. Howdy. Yeah. Yeah, the garbage. Yeah, that was hilarious when he did that. I've got an idea for voting, and I love it. I guess it's my idea. I guess I would love it, huh? But, okay, we've got a Social Security number. We've got either a driver's license number or a state ID number. Ours in Illinois is the same thing. The only difference is the driver's license has the letter of your first letter of your last name in front, and the state ID has the first letter of your last name in back. That's the only difference. So either using, that type of an ID number or just use your Social Security number, right? Because every legal citizen supposedly has a Social Security number. So just use your Social Security number to be able to identify the person, okay? Use blockchain technology to record the votes. And we just log in to our government account that's, backed up by the blockchain to cast our vote. And that system ideally would allow us at any time we wanted to be able to go in and check on our vote to make sure that our vote stayed our vote at any time. You could log in and check your vote status. Again, I want to emphasize blockchain, so it's not something that would be easily hackable. I don't understand. I mean, we live in the age of technology, and every plan I see for ballots is crazy. I mean, it's not the 1820s. We don't have to get the family dressed up in their good clothes to head to town in the horse carriage. It's not like that anymore. I really do think that they could come up with a better solution that could be secure and something that people would feel comfortable with. Maybe not right away. I could see a lot of opposition to the idea of online voting. But again, I emphasize, if the database was on the blockchain, everything could be investigated at any time. So if there was tomfoolery going on, that could be found out at any time. And it's not something that once it was put in there, it's not something that could be removed. So, again, if somebody did do something, if there were names registered that shouldn't have been registered or what have you, it would still be in there. It would be a matter of record. And considering that you'd have to use an ID to log in, they would know directly who to go after if something was not up to snuff. I don't know. And that's just my idea. Lord knows there's probably 1,000 ideas better than mine. But there's something, you gotta believe that there's something out there better than what we have going. Oh yeah, we might get Pennsylvania too. I didn't know the Amish were coming out and voting. That was, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I mean, I do think a lot of times, they are. A lot of them anyway. I know there's some of them that don't even believe in daylight. No, I'm kidding. There's some of them that are very strict about their beliefs and not having anything to do with electricity and all that good stuff. And of course, then there's other ones that are very relaxed on their rules as far as what they will and won't allow. They've got cell phones and stuff like that, so. Yeah, 50 Shades of Grey Amish edition, if you will. Yeah, I do think a lot of people are hip to a lot of the different stuff they may try and pull. I think there's a lot more eyes watching. And here's something, too. I think there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be much more ready with their cell phone camera than the last election. And I think that there are far more many people today that's going to, without a doubt, pull out that cell phone and start recording video of something that doesn't look right. Look at the case, I don't remember where, but some lady was going around telling people they were closing the polls. Wasn't that in Pennsylvania or something? And yeah, I didn't know Tim had said that. I assume you're talking about the cell phone cameras. I think you're going to see a lot more of it this time. Ow, gotta pop my back. I think you're going to see a lot more of that. I know, like last time, there were cases to where people wanted to watch the count and stuff like that, and people were held back from being able to watch the count. I think a lot of that stuff is going to get addressed this time in a manner in which it's not going to fly. People aren't going to just walk away and let it be. So we'll see. I mean, of course, that's going to turn up Tuesday night if it happens. We'll see. We'll see. My hope is that most all of the votes are cast before Tuesday, and that Tuesday is pretty non-eventful in all ways as far as the election is concerned. Short lines, not a whole lot extra to have to tally up. Of course, you've got some states like Arizona, I believe, that's trying to pull this off. Again, where we won't have all the ballots in by election day. They want to wait another however many days. And, my opinion, it shouldn't be allowed, but they're going to do what they're going to do. I don't know. I hate to make a prediction. I really hate to make a prediction. Because I don't know how confident I am in the integrity of it. But in the reality of things, I think it's going to be a landslide. And I think it's going to be a landslide not just for the presidential ticket. I think it's going to be a landslide for a lot of the House and the Senate as well. People are tired of this. And there are many people that were independent. There are many people that were on the left. I'm not talking about the radical leftists. I'm talking about the traditional leftists, which are good people, they're great people. And I think that they're not so sure on this, and I think a lot of them would either, this time around, either sit out, or they may very well be voting for Donald Trump, because when you vote for Donald Trump, you don't just get Donald Trump. You get Elon Musk, which I know is not a fan, but you get RFK Jr. And again, the left's not really a super fan of his, but he is much more aligned with them. And I think for many of the, again, traditional leftists, I think that they would be very happy to know that he was involved in the cabinet. Like I said last night, we've got an opportunity of a lifetime here. I don't think we will ever see an opportunity like this again. I agree. I hope he gets head of the FDA. Absolutely. Immigration, I don't know. For some reason, immigration, Dan Bongino comes to mind. I don't know why that is. But, and I don't know how well that would turn out, to be real honest, but when I think immigration, Dan Bongino is the name that just rings in my head. And again, I can't tell you why. But what was that? Department of Government Efficiency? Something like that is what Elon was calling it, that he would be in charge of. Department of Government Efficiency. That's incredible. I agree on Mayorkas needing to go to prison with 95% of them. And I kind of see, man, I don't know. People are kind of perma-pissed about a lot that's going on. I don't know that people are going to be good with just letting things go. I do think that people do want to see accountability for a lot of the stuff that's gone on. Things related to COVID, things related to the actions taken against Trump, things related to the actions taken against Trump supporters. There's a lot of things that people are going to want to see dealt with. And rightfully so. Yeah, I think Elon a clean house. In a big way. I really do. I'm really looking forward to this. I don't know what Vivek would be good for, necessarily, but I don't know him that well. I know that he was involved somehow in the pharmaceutical industry. Does that mean I'd want him to be head of the drug part of the FDA? I don't know. I'd rather see Kennedy being in charge of all that. Yeah, I saw that Bannon's out. Yeah. That's another crazy deal. All crazy. Anyway, I am gonna hop out of here, because if I don't, I'm gonna have a dog looking at me all pissed off. Probably already is. Her head's pointed in my direction, so. Anyway, I'm gonna get out of here. I will be back tomorrow evening, same time, 8 p.m. Central Time, and we'll see you then. So I hope everybody has a good evening. God willing, we'll see you tomorrow. Shalom.